Hello YouTube, it's Tony, and so today I'll be showing you a solo Dagannoth Rex guide by using the Safespot. Now this guide's mostly going to be geared towards low level Ironman. Yeah, I know, this is like my very first bossing guide on this channel, so I know a lot of you are waiting for this. Anyways, let's get into the gear setup. You can only use Mage here because you're going to be attacking the melee Dagannoth. Now I'm using a God Staff here, although at the very least you want to bring a tier 50 staff. You can also bring full lunar set here, but I mean, to be fair, it's quite doable without armor anyways. After that, I have the God Cape, and then finally the Ring of Kinship, which is basically my emergency bank teleport. The next section I'll get into is the inventory setup. You want to have a lot of food, and at least 15 preferably. Like getting to Dagannoth Kings can really take you a lot of damage, especially because the other creatures are just going to keep piling on you. Also, just in case you aggro other Dagannoth Kings, this can be some good emergency food. You can also bring Dagannoth King's teleport tablet, which is basically dropped by the Dagannoth Kings themselves, but if you don't have that, that's pretty much fine. You then want to bring fire and air runes because, well, they're actually weak to fire spells. Then I'm going to bring nature runes, which are for alking, the rune or the rock shell items. Finally, just leave the rest of your inventory space empty, or otherwise just fill the rest with food. Now let's talk about how to get to Dagannoth Kings. You're going to use the Fremnik lodestone and enter Fremnik town. Then you're going to run north and then travel the sailor to Waterbirth Island. Now you want to go into the cave and you're just going to keep running pretty much. I mean, I can't really explain this instruction word for word, so just keep watching. Like, I had to do a lot of running here, but basically I used the map from the Runescape Wikia. Now you'll see one of the ladders there, so you gotta choose the right one, or you'll actually end up in the wrong place, which I actually did in this case. Of course, the other option is the Dagannoth King's teleport tablet, which is an uncommon drop from the Dagannoth Kings, although you're not going to get it the first time, so yeah. Once you arrive at the entrance, you're going to jump over the rocks. When you do so, you're going to create an instance. Now this is the part where you can save some money, and it's especially helpful for low-level Ironmen out here. What you're going to do is pick the standard spawn because it's free. So after you pick the standard spawn, you're going to climb up the ladder to leave the instance immediately. Once you left the instance, now you're going to, instead of selecting the standard spawn, you're going to select the fastest spawn and click the rejoin button. See, the really cool thing about this is that it's a way to bypass the 150k cost. When you enter, you're going to surge all the way east and go south, right? Now you see that huge boulder on the southeast corner? Well, you're just going to stand as close to that boulder as possible, so that way it avoids other Dagannoth Kings from seeing you. Of course, as you can see right here, this is a pretty dark place, so you're going to want to set your skybox to midday or something. The next section I'll talk about is the strategy. You want to start by standing near the boulder I told you about before. Once you tag the Dagannoth Rex, you're going to finally run back to the boulder. I would say after 3 attacks or so you start running there. Now the exact spot is, you want to stand 1 square northeast of the boulder. This is pretty much your safe spot because the Dagannoth Rex can't reach you. As you'll notice, his right arm is pretty much stuck against the boulder. Yeah, once he's stuck, you can just keep attacking him and you'll never be hit. Like, trapping him is very hard to explain and do properly, so don't fuss about it if you don't get it the first time. I personally took like 10 tries to do this on my very old Ironman, so if you don't get it right the first time, just be a little bit patient, you know? You will definitely notice a couple of Dagannoth egglings that spawn from the water and attack you. Well, you don't really have to worry about it, so just tank the attacks. I mean, they don't even deal that much damage, and after a while, they'll pretty much disappear anyways. So here's my ability bar rotation. I'm actually using a Revolution Plus rotation, so there's nothing really fancy here. For those who have the Gothic Staff special attack, this can be really helpful here because it does reduce their defense, thus making the kills a lot faster. The only thing I can really note is that you don't want to put chain on your ability bar because you might accidentally hit other Dagannoth Kings, which can be really problematic. When you're looting the drops, it's pretty simple. You just want to drop an item where you're standing and stay where you're standing. Now you're just going to use the area loot and you'll pretty much loot each and every single drop. As you'll notice, the Dagannoth Rex does tend to cause you to move a lot because the staff range just isn't always long enough. With that said, you definitely want to avoid tagging the Rex if you see other Dagannoth Kings that are either standing beside Rex or they're either too close to that or even facing you. Now if they do see you, they'll start attacking you, and like I said, it is not a pleasant feeling, okay? Anytime you aggro the other Dagannoth Kings, well, you can't always control that. what you're just going to do is panic surge and finally climb up the ladder, then rejoin the instance. Now, this actually resets all the spawns, so just go back to your east boulder for your safe spot. Otherwise, it would honestly be safer to just teleport out by using your Ring of Kinship, because you'll notice that, yeah, the Dagannoth Kings really do hit so hard, okay? At least 1Ks or higher, and they hit very fast too. Yeah, because of that, there's a really high chance of dying just by running to the ladder, especially for those who have low HP. You also want to make sure the Dagannoth Rex isn't too far north of the boulder, because if it is, it will actually get around your safe spot. Anytime that happens, that they actually reach around your safe spot, I'm not really sure exactly how to explain, but here it is. You want to run to the very south square near the boulder that I told you about, right? Once you've done so and the Dagannoth Rex is still attacking you, you're just going to want to click on your typical safe spot as I mentioned earlier. This should pretty much be able to trap its right arm again. I don't have any additional footage, but the other alternative is to trap its left arm instead, which you're probably just going to want to go a little bit north and quickly go south alongside the boulder. So in conclusion, I'm not really sure about the kills per hour, but I would say the Dragon Hatchet is a 1 in 128 chance. Like personally, for me, I got this as a Reaper task, and yeah, I got my Dragon Hatchet on like my 200th kill or something. Anyways, to conclude this, if you still don't understand what I'm saying, I do have a full raw footage of me doing this, and I'll leave the link in the description. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask. Also, make sure to subscribe and follow my Ironman series if you haven't done so already. And of course, best of luck with the Dragon Hatchet hunt.